Wow, I think this is the smoothest my Minecraft's ever run. I wonder how many FPS I'm getting. Oh my god. Alright guys, so now getting in how to actually get better FPS. So I have a demo world already set up, so just go in here. So right now I believe I am on the default stock Minecraft settings. When you first download the game or update it, it goes immediately to this. So right now I am getting about 430 FPS average. So with those settings, it has, okay, so first of all, you're going to go options, video settings, and then you'll be in this options. So it is at, so the render distance is 8 chunks, and a chunk is a 16 by 16 block, if you don't know. And then the graphics are fancy, it just has a few little effects, stuff like that. So you're going to want to turn that to fast, and then render distance, I would put it at 4, but if you really can't handle anything, or you really can't handle it, you might have to go down to 2, which for me is pretty much unbearable, as everything looks like this. So video settings, if you can just keep it at 4, it's much better. So I'll show you the, oops, F3. I'll show you the FPS difference. So this is at 4 for me. So I'm getting about 660, so about 660. So then if we go and then we turn it all the way down to 2, I will get a considerable amount more, but at a great cost, in my opinion. So if you can get 30 FPS with 4 chunks, make sure you do that, or I think it's really worth it. But maybe if you go in the nether, you'll have to turn it down because all the lava and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it on 4 for the rest of the video for that sake. So graphics, fancy. If we turn that off, I'm averaging about 660 FPS. Turn it off. That ridiculously boosted it. So if you're using fancy, make sure you turn it to fast, because that just went up 400. So those two are the biggest things right now that are going to boost your FPS. So now if we go again, video settings, smooth lighting, this very little affects your FPS, or not very much. So I wouldn't really mess with it. So at maximum, I'm just going to say averaging 1150 FPS. Off. We're getting right about the same thing. Minimum. Same story. It's actually going higher, which is weird. So same thing. I would just keep that at maximum. It makes it look better, and it really doesn't do much for you. And then 3D angle, I believe is how you say it. Just keep that off, unless you want to play with those weird 3D glasses. This is what it does. It's totally bizarre. So, it's bizarre. Don't use it. I think that's just common sense. GUI scale, all that does right here is increase the size and the hotbar of all the things on your thing. So I like to keep it at large for me, but it's your personal preference. You can go auto. And then clouds really don't affect much. I turn them off because they annoy me, but it really doesn't affect FPS all that much. So if you look up at the sky, it'll always be better, but I'm going to try to keep a little bit of sky and land at the same time. So same FPS. Particles, I think this may boost FPS. So particles are on all right now. If we go to decreased, alright, so that gave me about 30 average FPS right there. So it won't be as big for you because mine's going up so much, it's just going to keep going up a lot. So if you can get about 5 FPS out of each one of these, that'll be good. Your target goal is 30 FPS. That is where it's smooth. If you can get that without dipping, that's great. And then minimal. oops, about the same. So particles, I would turn them to decrease but not off. Vsync, that just locks the frame rate to your monitor's refresh rate. So, and it prevents screen tearing. So if you're playing and your screen like tears a lot and stuff like that, you're gonna want to turn Vsync on. And then full screen, that just makes the screen go full. Common sense. And then alternate blocks, if you have a texture pack, that just lets you have alternate blocks that they want to have that are outside of the Minecraft default. So if they want to have like a blue creeper, green creeper all at the same time, they could do that. And then Mipmap levels, I don't really know what that does. I don't think it affects your FPS too much, so I'll put it at 2. All I know is it's just a little laggy. So that actually gave me about, I'll say an average, another 20 FPS, so maybe it might be worth it. And then let's see what happens when we go all the way down to 0. It's very laggy doing the bar though. And then we're down to, it just fluctuates a lot. So for me, okay, so for what it looks like on my screen is the Mipmap levels make it look much less grainy. So I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but for me, that's what it looks like on my screen. So I'd keep that at 2 at least. And then VBOs, I played around with it a little bit before this video, and I don't really know what it does. But when it's on, it seems to decrease your FPS, and I can't really see much of a graphics difference between it. So if we go turn it off, we're staying around 1200 up and down. So that's it for the video settings. And if none of that works, what you're going to want to do is go and download a resource pack, but you're going to want to get an 8x8. So default is 16x16. 8x8 is the lowest resolution. There may be a 4, no, there can't be a 4x4. That's just insane. There's not enough. There can't be. So if we do that and then done, this is 1.7 version, but it's on 1.8. I didn't really find, I just was trying to find one for the video. But then, for me, I don't see too much of a difference, but for you, you might see much more of a difference because you'll probably, most likely, have a much less powerful system, so it'll be a lot more, it'll probably have a bigger difference because it won't need to render as much. So, and for me, this doesn't even look that bad. I think it looks pretty cool, actually. So if it helps, that might help you, it might not. I hope this video really helped you. Oh, and one more thing, if you see up in the right hand corner where it says display, it'll go, if you see like GTX something something or AMD, that means you have a discrete GPU, which is good. You'll probably get better FPS. And if it has Intel 4440 or something like that, that means you're running an APU and your processor is doing all the graphics processing right there. So most likely that's the reason why, because the GPU is what makes these systems fast. Alright, I hope this video helped you out. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends if they're having problems. And peace. Quest played out.